And these will go in.
So they're actually the seam of the coals.
Yeah, yeah, like coal faces.
Yeah.
And they'll be black.
Yeah.
And they'll be sitting into these windows and niches, and all might be slightly different and all be worked for each head.
Yeah.
And as you go around, they'll come like down, and there'll be one here, maybe three there, or whatever, and there'll be these lines as though it's a seam of coal.
Yeah.
And I'll call it something like a rich seam, or something like that.
Face of time.
Face of time, yeah. So that's, you know, as you saw I talk, I mean, the ideas do change every damn 10 minutes. But this one has stuck around for a little while in my head. And I really, what I was worried about, and you saw it even in those talks, so many people had ideas, and so many people wanted some aspect to be remembered and worked on. So it was like, I want to have women in it, I want to have children in it, I want to have community in it, I want to have banners in it, I want to have snap tins in it.
But you can't go too much.
But what really, the commonality, the common theme throughout the whole thing, was the people telling me. I thought, if I just do the people and record their stories,
it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, the people, there's wonderful faces of people in rock, of the land, like ghosts in the town, always present. It's almost like a lodestone where you go to and it all starts. You look at the head, you go online with a little QV code or something, you see the head, and then you go, there's a film attached, and then you listen to the story. And then there's a book in the museum, you know. And before you know it, it feeds out, and then the whole community is represented, because all the heads are from all the communities. Yeah. They've all got their stories, and they're all a starting point for a kind of a journey, really, of discovery. Yeah. And then all these people's issues, all the things that want to be included, are in it because they're in it, and their stories are in it. Yeah. That's as near as I'm getting with the idea at the moment. Anyway, I don't know if have we started?
Yeah, I've kicked it off.
Oh Christ. Okay, well, we'll start with, hello. Your name, sir?
Antony Busell.
Antony Busell. And you worked at?
Bentley Colliery.
Bentley Colliery. Now, you're probably aware, I've just been talking, that I'm going to make a wax head of you in about 2 hours, and hopefully
it looks something like
me. A little bit like you. And in that period, we're going to hopefully have a conversation about you, your life, mining, the community you know and been brought up in. Yes. And where you are now. So, first of all, when were you born?
Born in 1971.
Right. And to a family of miners, or?
My dad was a miner. Mum as a mother. I've got a brother and a sister. That really, I mean, my dad, he went on buses back to mines, to buses, back to mines. Because in them days, you could change. Well, it was quite easy to change jobs. Right. Not like it is nowadays.
So would you call him a passionate miner?
Well, I think with my dad it was just a job, but he became a deputy after a length of time, and he enjoyed his job, his role in the safety side of things.
So what's a deputy?
A deputy is somebody who makes sure the district is safe for men working, and walking around and checking for gas, and analysing a situation, if it's safe or not. Also, if anybody had an accident and they needed pain relief, it was only a deputy that could inject morphine.
Oh, really?
They had little like first aid boxes with key on the walls in certain areas of the mine with the methane, no, sorry, I do apologise, morphine inside it, and deputy, they unlocked it, got the syringe out, got the medicine out, and
administered it?
Yes.
Gosh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. So he was quite important down below, and when things go wrong, he's the guy that you go straight to, the deputy.
Yeah, then if anything happens, deputy's got to report to the manager, and just along the line, really.
Right. So you say he was kind of on and off in the mine? So how
For early times, 70s and 80s, he was on and off, but then in 80s he stuck to the mines, and that's when he became a deputy.
Right. And did he stick to it because of his new family responsibilities and?
Oh yeah, my dad was a person who believed he's the breadwinner, he's the one who provides, he made sure we had holidays, Christmas, food on the table. So that's what he was.
And did you get on with your dad?
Not really, no. Because my dad was he'd been to work, comes home, I want my telly on, I've been to work, I want to know what's happening on the news and stuff like that. It was different in them days compared to how it is now. Like, I've always said to myself, I'm not going to be like that. With my kids, if they're watching something and I come in, I'll just let them carry on watching it. I won't penalise them just because I want to watch something. I won't do it. And even if I'm at home watching something but it's not really that interesting and they say, can I watch this, their kids' programmes, I say, yeah, sure. Because the programme I was watching wasn't interesting enough to keep watching, unless it was a film. So in that respect, we just worked around each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got kids yourself?
Yes.
How many have you got?
I've got one of each, a girl and a boy.
And how old are they?
Amy's, she's 8, Mason's 11.
Oh, nice. So still quite a handful.
Yes. They are good kids.
Yeah.
They are good kids. They can play together, they get on together. Mason, he makes out that he doesn't, he's not bothered about Amy, but he is. He adores her. He's like the big brother. If anything happens, he's the first one to try and sort it out, see what's up. But no, he's a good kid.
Nice. So where were you brought up?
First off, what I can call Scorthorpe.
Sculptural.
Scorthorpe.
Scorthorpe. Where's that? How do you spell that, sir?
SCAWTHROPE, Scorthorpe.
Right, where's that?
That's in Bentley.
Oh, okay.
Away to Woodlands on that stretch. Then we moved to Bentley on Bath Road, and that's where we lived for a good few years then, till I got older. I can remember then my dad was working at buses. He was on his shift and we were ready for school and that. Next thing I know, the big double-decker bus outside the house, off on a side street.
Right, yeah.
My dad just pulled into just pick us up and take us to school. On his round, it was ace. But I mean,
Was that a one-off or did he do it all the time?
No, that was just a one-off.
Fantastic. A birthday treat.
Yeah, but you won't get out like that nowadays.
No.
But now, I've got good memories about it all.
So your dad would have been in Bentley Pit when he was working in the mines?
Yes.
As a deputy. And so, I mean, Bentley Pit's quite a kind of it's got a kind of not a reputation, it's kind of a famous pit really, isn't it? It's one of the ones that you have heard of.
Yes.
Even from outside of the area. Is there a reason for that, or is it?
Not far as I know, because I say I don't know much history of Bentley because I only worked there 3 years at a time. But the old guys have got more history, and I mean there has been some disasters
Yes, the Bentley disaster.
Yeah.
Was quite a thing actually, wasn't it? I think we had Nurse Joan Hart here, who was a kind of a nurse at the time at Bentley.
Right.
And when was that? Was in the. So when was the Bentley colliery disaster?
There's been two. The Paddy accident, I think in 1978.
And what was that? Paddy? You mean a paddy? You mean a...
Like a train.
Wagons?
Like a train carrying miners to and from the place. That just something happened regarding the safety side of things, and it like ran away and got lost on a bend, and a few people died on that one.
A runaway train, what people were literally run over type thing, or?
No, it just going down the track, and it derailed and hit the rings. I mean, my dad told me a couple of months back actually that he's supposed to be on that shift that day, but he changed his shift for some strange reason, and so he said, I don't know what if he would have been still on that shift. He didn't know what would have been the outcome, but for some reason he changed the shift with somebody. So he said that woke him up, and he had to go in that morning after it actually happened, because we were being a deputy.
Oh gosh.
He was a safety person.
Yeah.
And they had to go in for meetings and discuss it all and get to the bottom of what the cause was. But the earlier accident, the explosion, I cannot remember much about that one.
And what date was that?
I can't remember. I mean, I wouldn't even like to guess in case I got it wrong.
Do you know what decade it was?
It would not, it might have been, I can't remember, 1920 something.
Oh, really? That kind of...
Oh, a bit late. It wasn't newish,
No.
like 50s or 60s. I'm sure of it, but I'll have to be looking it up now.
And that was an explosion?
Yes. And it killed quite a few people. And some of the bodies were not recovered. So that's still down there now. But no, I've had good times down there. I mean...
So your story, let's go back to it. So you were obviously brought up, your dad's a miner, in and out of the job. He's a
Yes.
deputy, he's a man of respect. He's your mother was working at home, bringing up family.
Yes.
He's coming home with you and with his tea on the table.
Yes.
And you are a kid at school.
Yes.
And you're enjoying school?
At the time at school, I was having problems with my ears.
Ears?
Yeah. I was partly deaf in both ears, so I had to wear hearing aids. So everything I was learning, I was struggling with. So it set me back with my English and maths and just schooling in general.
Did it affect your speech?
It did, yes. But I have had operations on my ears to like do skin grafts.
Really? On the drum?
Yeah, to repair the eardrum. And they seem to be okay now, my ears seem to be okay. Then I left school at 16. I mean, I enjoyed woodwork and metalwork at school. They're one of the main subjects I like because I like working with my hands. And there's some times when I'm at school, like in woodwork, the teachers tell us how to do something and tell us to make this item. And this one particular item, I didn't want to do it his way. I wanted to do it my way, thinking it's easier. So he said, okay then, you could do it your way and let's see what happens. I did it my way, it came out the same. I can't remember if it was a bit quicker or easier, and ever since then he noticed that I had skills and qualities in that side of things, same as the metalwork. And when he found out that I was leaving at Easter and not taking my exams, he pleaded with my parents for me to stop on so I could take the exams.
So why were you not going to take the exams?
Because I didn't like school because of the problems I was.
Because of the physical problems?
Yes.
Did you suffer for the other kids with those physical problems, or
no,
was there sympathy?
No, just struggled himself. I didn't like homework and stuff like that. I found some stuff to do hard to do because I didn't understand it properly. But I left school at 16. I went to start working at Doncaster Cables at Millgate on a cardio press that's making bobbins that the cable gets wound onto.
Yeah.
That was manual work.
Those big, almost, they use them as tables now in pubs and things, are they?
No, they're
cotton reels or not?
They do a little wire one. The one's putting like twin and earth and electric wires. You can see them in B&Q all like that.
Oh, right.
Little bobbins. And it's got like 2 flanges and a tin in the middle. And we used to have a box of tins, empty box, and we had to put a tin in the middle, the flange both sides, then pull lid down and it'll press it in and it'll make the reel. Then you take it out, pull it in tub and do the same again. And used to, the lad I was working with, we used to have that competition, so who could do the quickest. I mean, there was a record of the amount being made in one day, and that like nearly 3,000 of these reels, but a certain size reel for that time, because you could do like 6x3 bobbins where you could get a couple of hundred in a box. So, you know, as soon as you filled so many boxes, you was hitting that target. But now, it was a good laugh. Then, I can remember in the canteen, I was having my snap, and I came across...
Did you call it snap in there?
Yeah.
So snap is a universal term, not just a mining term?
Yeah. And I was having something to eat, and I was looking for a newspaper. I saw a notice coming up, miners being recruited in the coalfield, and I ripped it out of paper and I took it home. But I can remember my dad saying to me years ago, he never wants me to work that pit. Yeah. But as soon as I got this slip, I took it home, and my dad told me about it. I said, yeah, I've got it here. And he took me up to get an application form. I got an application form, filled it in, but at the time, because you had to have a medical as well to see if you were able to, fit enough to work underground regarding any problems or like that. So the thing that I noticed, well, I picked up on was my ears, thinking the medical might fail my ears because of having operations and my ears not being strong enough to take the pressure.
Oh, right.
So I had the medical and I passed it and I got a job. And I can remember doing the on surface, like a little classroom college thing. I used to do
the training.
Yeah, training. learn all about it and that. Then you send us down with trainer to different areas to get us used to what it's like underground, and showing us what different things are and how to ride a man rider belt, how to get off it.
A man rider belt?
Yeah, it's like a conveyor belt which has coal on it. Some areas in the pit you could ride them. Rather than walking out, you could ride them, and that was same for going in, because what they lifted the top up so the bottom belt were lower, and you could ride in by on the belt and get off at the next platform where you need to get off to get to your job. I mean, sometimes it could take you an hour to get to your job. And when you think it, sometimes your shifts are only 7.25 hours. So you spent nearly 2 hours walking, travelling. So you've only got like 5 hours work. And you think...
I mean, what sort of depths and lengths of pit shaft and...
Bentley pit was, I think, 850 metres. I mean, it was deep. I mean, that park gate... you dropped like 30 foot a second in the cage, and you can feel your ears.
Oh, really? Especially yours.
Yeah, I mean, by that time I think my ears were completely healed up, but you had to like gulp or take a sweet to even the pressure out. But now, then I...
So you do the training.
Yes.
And then?
Once you've done your training, you get allocated. Well, after you do training, there's another section of training called CPS. Right. That's close personal supervision. That's where you get another miner who like shadows you, shows you ropes and where to go, what not to do, and they just help you out and give you advice.
And is that a good, for a miner, is it quite good to get that as a job,
well, yeah,
after a young rookie, as it were?
Well, yeah, because once you've gone down there, unless you've been shown how to do things, you don't know anything. I mean, it amazes me with the rope men, because they could, on haulage, that old machine that brought the materials into the headings, or if they were packing out, they're rope men who actually repaired cable.
Yeah.
So what they did, they cut the cable, spliced, well, unwound the cable, then inserted another cable into it, then wound it back together to make a joint. Then they put new section in and jointed that back. And that amazes me how they did it, and it wouldn't come undone. Bentley pit bottom, when the explosion happened, Bentley pit was still on fire around the shafts, even up to the day it shut.
Really?
Yes.
Hang on a minute, going back to let's say the 1940s, 20s. The explosion started in the pit, and obviously it got a horrible disaster.
Yeah.
The coal underground was smouldering away.
Yeah, still burning.
And that shaft was closed down?
No, it was still... It wasn't actually in the shaft, or it was quite a bit away from the shaft, but it's like in the pit bottom area. And when one of the jobs I had was a beltman, I had to go around checking the rollers, making sure they're all spinning, no build-up of dust, coal around them, clean box end out, because if you didn't, that would form a fire. with the heating of the steel and the coal rubbing against each other. And some areas I had to walk on, they had pipes coming out of the wall with caps over end, and they were where the explosion was. They pumped in this like sealant to try and smother the coals, stop it from breathing. And many times I could be walking down there, and one instance I had to link control because I could smell smoke. So they sent a deputy round to check it all out, and if there was any sign of new smouldering, what they'll probably do is open the caps and push more. It's called pump pack. It's like a plaster to pump it in, and it seals the areas. The stuff they use, it gets red hot because they use two mixtures to mix it together with water, and it gets red hot. And I can remember sometimes this bloke, he wanted some beans for his lunch, so what he did, he got a tub, a steel bin, filled it with this mixture and dropped his tin of beans into it, left it for 20 minutes so for it to heat up. He smashed the like cement, plaster, whatever, off the beans, opened tin of beans, and they were nice and warm.
So he cooked them inside the, where, sorry, he cooked them where?
In the bucket, because the stuff that they put into the wall, that helps the wall from collapsing on the roadway, like in a way, like underpinning on a house, you make it solid. So, but the chemical reaction was solid, and it got red hot.
Wow! And you could cook your food.
And he cooked. I saw him actually cook tin of beans, and it was hot. It was funny. He had a bit of trouble getting the tins open because he didn't think about opening them. But no, he did it. He had
Was that part of contraband? I mean, would that have been allowed down there? Tin of beans?
Beans you can because of steel.
Because another guy, I met a guy yesterday whose wife, his first day down the pit, his wife packed him a packed lunch and she wrapped it in tin foil.
Yeah,
he opened his tin and he thought, shh, and he closed it again and went hungry for the day.
Tin foil can be conductive.
Right.
So what you're not allowed, matches, cigarettes, paper, anything that could catch fire. Yeah. You weren't allowed to do it. I mean, I know camera crew went down, but they were all specialised equipment, sealed off from, because it all had to be airtight. Yeah. I mean, there was one instance where one of belt lines, it was what you call gas fast, where gas is building up and is not going anywhere. And it's like one belt led to another belt, but like on a bend. But the gas wouldn't move. It just stayed there. To try putting blowers to try blow it away, but it wouldn't do it. And in the end, the manager said to under manager, I want the belts going. Where we all knew that if you'd done the belts running, you get electric, and gas and electric do not go together on a certain level of gas. But the manager, he wanted belts moving. Few of us, we went out that way to shaft side, just in case anything did happen. But the manager knew what he was doing. He got the belts going, and with the flow of the air from the belts, it actually dispersed the gas out of the pit, or diluted it, made it thinner. But no, that was a scary experience. That
so
one.
You've been in experiences where methane gas is built up down there.
Yeah.
And was that an unusual experience or?
No, it does happen. It does happen. A lot of the time, when you're a miner, you keep an eye on the weather forecast, because you get high pressure and low pressure. When it's high pressure, mining can be okay, because the pressure that's coming down is high and it pushes the gas back into the wall. So when you get low pressure, like when it's raining and stuff like that, that's when gas can start seeping out.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I looked up on regarding the weather and what role it had in the mining.
Gosh, you never would have understood. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the ambient gas pressure, what's the word, air pressure in the air? Is it like 4 point something? There's an ambient pressure, isn't there, and it builds up. So that actual pressure can affect gas at 850 metres.
Yeah. But then it's got to go into your other roadways.
So the pressure from the outside air hits the ground, and that obviously slows down. It's a bit like a chimney flue, I presume, where the smoke gets colder and colder and colder, and therefore you get a build of smoke down below. The methane's constantly filtering through the rock strata and all the geology, going up to the surface. And if you put a bit of pressure on the top, it backs up.
Yeah.
And is it almost as immediate as that? You would have an effect that
day? It'd have an immediate effect.
You don't go like, okay, last week we had 6 bar or whatever it was, and then the following week, oh yeah, that'll have an effect down below. It's actually immediate. Yeah,
it can be immediate, yeah. With the pressure on it. I mean, there was one instance where it'd been raining up on surface, so it was low pressure, and because Bentley Pit had an old training gallery in Barnsley level.
Okay, a training gallery is a gallery
where you go to train, like to move and lift things, set rings.
Is that an old pit head face or a...
Well, it's old workings.
Okay.
But it's actually in the pit.
A disused area.
Yeah, because when I did my training, it was on the surface. The rings, we had a mock area on the surface that we did his training in, rather than going underground. We did go to the training gallery during our training, so we could show us what it was all about. One section you had to abseil to get to the training gallery, because where the rings made out, it was like started up, then it rolled flat, and you could look down, and the rings were like that way, going downwards.
Gosh.
And you have to abseil down that, or you could go down old workings, which I just chiselled out of the rock to get round to it. But this one time, it had been raining, and I was walking about, old areas, and I went into the training gallery, and I'd finished and started walking. I walked at pit bottom, and Deputy said to me, "Where you been?" And I told him. He said, "You're joking." I said, "No way." He said, "We're gas fast." we shut down for a minute because of gas. Nothing's running. He said, "But down there is the most gassiest place in the pit." He said, "You could have died not realising that the gas was affecting you."
This is down in the training gallery?
Yeah, I went down there. So, taught me a lesson. But like I say, I was only 19, 20.
Yeah.
So
what were you doing? Were you just going down there for the hell of it, or were you supposed to be down there?
Go down there for a living, just have a walk about.
Have a little investigate, little...
Yeah, I mean, a couple of guys at Pitt called me Crocodile Dundee, because I was always on the walkabout. But no.
So you had that freedom on a shift, for example. You had a freedom to, in your snap break or whatever.
Yes.
Do a little bit of investigation down that
yeah, probably
corridor.
Probably I shouldn't have done or whatever, but I wasn't really sure if I was or not. I say 19, 20, so.
Inquisitive.
Yes. Very.
I mean, the way you're talking and the way that you're relating stories is like a deep passion, really.
Yeah.
So I mean, you obviously were very, very young. You went in first. In mining was going towards the end of its kind of period.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you had any inkling of that at that point.
No.
No inkling of anything finishing.
No. I mean, when I went for my training, first started it, the centres, we did a test to be. Well, we did this test, and they pulled so many of us through to this other classroom, and I said, right, you 4 or 5 have passed this test. We want you to go to college. And I looked and thought, what? And he said, the test you've done is to become a fitter and electrician combined, so doing 2 jobs in one. And I said to him, I'm not going. He said, why? He said, I didn't like school, I didn't get on with school. He said, but how did you find this test? Easy. And he said, well, doesn't it tell you anything? Because all it was like, if pulley A move pulley C, which way would pulley B move? It was that type of test, which I find easy. I can evaluate and work stuff out like that. But the personnel manager, he had a chat to me, he had a chat to my dad to see if he could persuade me to keep there. And he says, can you just do 2 weeks, try 2 weeks, see how you get on? I said, okay. I mean, I did 2 days. All I want to do was get back underground. It wasn't for me, that area. So,
formal education was not your thing, but you had an incredible intelligence, it's obvious.
Yeah.
And an instant, from the minute you were turned on, you knew it. It was a bit like me going to art college for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do too well at school, and then I went to art college and, whoa. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. This is me, it fits, the glove fits. Yeah. It all the kind of, the taps are now open.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you were so curious, you were running up and down and through and just in heaven down there.
Yeah. And I mean, there was one section on Beltline, I walked into old stables where they used to keep ponies, and they had like bits of leather from the saddles and the harnesses, and you could still smell the ponies on it, and you could still feel the texture.
And this is just a disused part of the mine,
well, yeah, disused, but it was a walkway you had to go through to get somewhere.
Wow. So really evocative.
Yeah, a lot of old history. I mean, it had old travel carriages, like where you sit. Like the carriages nowadays, underground, you sit side by side, facing forward or backwards. What these ones were, you sat in a row sideways, facing sideways, looking at the rings rather than looking forward.
So you were looking outwards, so back to back. So there's 2 sets of you going.
Yeah, there's one where I'm sat. There's a person sat behind me. Train's going that way, but you're looking that way.
At the wall.
Yeah, and there were 2 carriages there.
Wow.
And that was interesting to look at and see how they worked. And like I say, they had old roadways.
It's like an underground city.
Yeah.
And you had the keys to it.
Yeah. I mean, some areas.
Just go back to this burning. Sorry, I didn't really finish off the burning part of the mine. So you had almost, I suppose it sounds to me as though there was like vents almost, which you could assess where the smoke was.
Well, no, it's actually what was like seeping through the like pump pack, what they put on the walls to seal it. If that started decaying, crumbling, it'll start seeping through that.
Bloody hell, so I'm just trying to get my head around it. I'm sorry to be a bit dim. So 50 years previously there was a fire and it was in another district.
Yeah.
And the smoke was seeping through from that district, and no one was going in that district ever again. It was a closed off district.
Yes.
But it was there was smouldering coals.
Yes.
It's like oak fire. It's like an oak in a house. It can burn for days and you don't know what's going on. So that's been burning for 50 years.
Yeah.
Smouldering away.
As far as I know, yeah. I mean, my dad still thinks it's probably still burning now, even to this day, because providing, well, we don't know what air can get down to it.
Yeah.
We don't know. But.
And so, obviously, you just live with this going on. You live with this idea.
Yeah.
I mean, could it cause geological? Could it end up causing a collapse? Because I mean, obviously, the stuff's burning away. The carbon's going, leaving voids. Eventually, the granite or whatever it is on top, it's got to dislodge.
I don't know. I mean, there is like the shaft. There's still steelwork and brickwork in the shaft, because they don't. I didn't think they filled it all the way to the bottom. I think so far up, they fill it with a lot of rubble and stuff like that. Old machinery, just chucked it down shaft. But then near the surface, they put a cap in, like put a false floor in. Then what they do then, they backfill that with all concrete and that. And that's when on surface you see these caps.
Yes. Oh, okay. Gosh. So you're living with these kind of stories underground, this kind of this world.
Yeah.
And the history is, that's a constant reminder, isn't it? Or is it just something you live with?
No, it's a constant reminder. It's vivid in my mind, all the old workways. I mean, if I could draw, and I could draw the images that are in my mind, they'd be amazing.
So what was your job? So let's go back. Your training did it. You got down there. You were obviously found in various places down in the training galleries where you shouldn't be, and you were learning fast the culture and the world down there. Was your dad involved at this time? Were you with your dad? Was he working at the same time?
My dad was still working there, yes, but he, I think he was on a different shift than me. I think once or twice, if he'd change his shift, I'd be on the same shift as him, but probably not working in his district. But
and were you known as his son?
Yes.
Was it something that was?
Yeah, they know. I mean, his name was Arthur, so they nicknamed me Young Arthur.
Right.
So.
Were you happy about that?
Yeah, it's just no point going.
But did you like being part of a kind of a line of miners? Was that something, a kind of a heritage thing that you were proud of?
I didn't think of it that way at first, but after a while, like I say, I really enjoyed the job and the atmosphere, and now it's gone. I'm proud of that respect, saying that I've been there, I've done that, I'm part of that history, and nobody else is going to have that history again. In the mind. Yeah. And it's quite
wonderful that a guy of your intelligence as well has got that historical interest.
Yeah.
You've got a kind of an archival interest in it. So you've got, and it's almost magnified, I suppose, because of the fact that you are one of the last.
Yes.
You have a responsibility almost.
Yeah. I mean, if I can recall, as far as I know, I'm the youngest underground worker at Bentley Pit. Wow. For the time, for when it shut.
So there was no one, there couldn't be anyone else, could there?
I mean, I think there was a lad on the surface. I don't know if he was older than me or younger, but he didn't work underground. Right. So I was the youngest underground worker.
And what was so eventually, after your training, did you go through the standard kind of doing every job, working my way to the coalface?
No, I didn't get to coalface because I I mean, before me, there's other people in line who've put the names down for like promotion. What I was put onto is called a market man, where what I used to do is when I used to get my checks from office in the morning before.
The check is a
little symbol, a little like disc for allowing me to go underground and come back up. You hand those in when you go down.
little brass
Yes.
discs.
Yeah, you put one in, it's got your number on it, and that goes back to the office, so they know that person's underground. So if anything happens, they can monitor who's underground by checking these checks. So if anything, a disaster happened, and the 4 people are out, because when you come out, you've got to hand another check in. So they know that person's gone in, and after something's happened, and everybody's come out, all the things come out, they'll do the check, and if there's some missing, they know that them people are still on the ground, and they know who they are. But now it's...
So you're a market man?
Yes.
And so you were basically there to fill in. We had a guy yesterday who said Fridays was always a day that he would prefer to be in the pub. I said, how did you know you were part of the team? How did you know you were going to be covered? He said, well, the market man was always there to cover me. So you were the guy that would fill in for the guys that
yeah, I mean,
ill or...
I worked, majority of market men do materials, like take materials up to the headings or to another roadway, and then somebody else would take it. A couple of teams of all these men taking it all, and that could be a engine drive, which is the haulage driver. So you set it running forward or backwards, which way you want to go. You've got like a brake, like a drum brake, which stops it, and all you've got is bells to listen to. You get like you do these bells, like rings. I think 2 for out by, 3 for in by. And so if you did 2, you know you're sending rope in by, and then they do a constant ring, which is a stop. Or they'll just put a lockout on the belt line, on the line itself, and that'll stop it. So when they cleared it, you just wait for their response again. There's no verbal communication on some sections. Some sections had a tannoy where you could talk to them at some places, but some of them didn't have them all the time. But I mean, some places were small places to work in, to walk through, and some places are bigger than this room.
Right. So was that one of your main activities then, when you were a market man?
Yes, or belt man. Well, when you're on belts, on a market man, these people are called button men. All they do is sit at this transfer point where one conveyor goes to another conveyor, and what you've got to do, the button inside you operates the conveyor, but there's a conveyor in front that has got to set off first before you set this conveyor off, and everything can start rolling again, start coaling. But what can happen, the belt that you're loading onto, that could stop, and if you're not alert at the time, that end of the belt can get full of coal. And I went to one junction once, which I can remember walking down to it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, please no. And what it was, one belt had stopped and the other belt just carried on spewing coal. And eventually it tripped out, but now there was coal everywhere.
Oh God.
And we had to dig that out, put it onto the belt to send it out.
Oh.
But no, that was a...
Was that your fault?
No, it was just... Sometimes some of these belts are operated by control. They stop and start the belts. But I can't remember exactly what happened, but when I went to it, I got at Antony. I could do with a couple more men to help us move these coal, mountain of coal.
God. So how much of an effect would that have on the day's production?
Oh, a lot, because the people on the face, their main priority is coal.
Yeah.
More coal they get out of the pit, more bonus they get, because there's a bonus system within the mine regarding how much money you got paid. So it was the people in face who got the most, then you got the people in the heading, then you got like people on materials, then you got people...
What do you mean by materials? Sorry, what's that?
Materials like sending rings in.
Oh, okay. Building materials.
Yes.
Construction.
Yeah. And when you got to surface, the percentage of the bonus got lower, because if you work on surface, you're not, it's like danger money and stuff like that. So that's how it's all worked out.
Hence, everyone's trying to get to the face.
Yeah, more money on the face.
Would you say it was more fun on the face? Fun's a funny word to use.
Yes, interesting.
I mean, is there, when you're at the face, is there a geological interest? I mean, when you're, I suppose you did it, but when you were down there, do you think about the fact that you guys are actually mining stuff and touching materials that were there since the earth began?
No, we don't think of it that way. I mean, once or twice we've come across like fossils, like stones or whatever, with fossils on it. We've found a few of those, but what we thinking over was the amount of weight that was coming down on us. It's like during snap time, when everything goes quiet.
Oh gosh, yes, that's interesting. So it's a very, very noisy place.
Yeah.
And then suddenly break time.
Yeah,
silence.
Everything goes off. It just dead silence. But all you'll hear is creaking and banging, and you could hear like a rock fall. You could hear a thud and feel it.
That was a bit weird.
Yeah.
The lights went out.
And now you could hear it, and once or twice like might ping because of the weight along the steel.
Gosh. So you've become aware of kind of being in geology, and is it something you discussed, or were you talking about the day's issues and having a laugh? Or was it people at the time you go, did you actually...
Oh, thank you.
It's his birthday.
It's some cake from Joe for you. It's his birthday.
Oh, that's very kind.
Curly haired guy.
Oh. How sweet is that? Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
You're on an hour.
Oh, we're getting there. Well, I'm enjoying myself. We might go on for 3 with this one.
You're not
It's good fun.
You're not allowed, I'm afraid, boss.
It's great. I'm enjoying this. We've got a nice narrative going. It's very good. So the geological... So you're having a snap break. It's gone deathly silent. It's creaking.
Yeah, banging and
Tectonic movements. So how many of you are having a break together?
it could be about 10 of us or so, because we're if you want materials, because sometimes I want a stage loader. One of my first jobs was on stage loader. That's next to the face. And that was noisy. But to say it was noisy, you could still fall asleep. I mean, on top of stage loader, there was a big basket full of big armoured cable, just reeled up. And because I'd just started and getting used to shifts and that lot, I think it were nights I run. I can remember this one time, chat with me, he said, "Go get a basket, get your head down for an hour or so," because I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got caught sleeping on the ground, with instant dismissal. But it's shut now anyway, so I can tell the story. I can remember being up there, and thanks a lot.
Who's done? Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah,
I can remember being up there with duffel coat on, just all wrapped up with air defenders on, so getting rid of noise and falling asleep. Next thing I know, I get a shining light in my face, and it was deputy. And saying, "Oh, are you alright?" Just making sure that you're alright up there. Because where I am is close to the roof, where rings have been set on that. And you say, "Come on, coming down now, get some work done." But now...
So he's not going to report you?
No. No, it's down there, it's like there's a family within the family and we all look out for each other, and they know that these young ones who just started, they're not used to their way of working and their way of life down there. So, but no, we had some good time.
So back to this geology in the back. I mean, you're obviously a guy that's thinking about it all the time. You're not thinking about the fact that these are dead forests from the what period of the world's development were they? Is it the Cambrian or the Devonian or?
I'm not quite sure. I've never.
You didn't have, when you had your mining training, you didn't have a kind of history of how these coal seams were created and the carboniferous forests that created them, or whatever.
No, not really. It's just, well, I can't remember, to tell you the truth.
But that's quite an interesting part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
The idea that this is fossils that you're digging. And
Yeah, well, it's all wood and stuff like that, isn't it?
I mean, that's incredible. When you're going through it, did you get a sense of kind of wood and grain and kind of fossilised?
No, it was just fossilised stuff we came across, but all of it were coal, and just watching it, I mean, sometimes I went onto face, because I'm a stage loader, sometimes Defty might let me just come to end at face as machines going up and down, and watching Chop Doctor do his job.
Chop Doctor?
Yeah.
I like that one. Got to write that one. Remember to write that. We're going to write, hopefully in this piece, we're going to have a glossary of words on the pavement. So you can walk up and go, Chop Doctor.
Yeah.
Is that a guy that sold chocolate?
What his job was, on the face you've got chocks, roof supports, hydraulic ones. What they do, they're actually fastened to the chain, the face panzer it's called.
Yeah.
And what it is once they've cut section of thing, it's called snaking in. And what it does is the chop doctor lowers about 4 chocks at once, and he he keeps everything up, and he pushes the pans over so it goes like a snake. And then what he does then, he lowers the canopy on the chock, then he pulls the chocks in with the weight of the pans. So it's like snaking all across. And as
And this is the runway in which the drill's going down at the front.
Yeah. So the bit is just cut out, the pan's going back, covering that over, and that gets done all the way down till the end. And for when he finishes it, he just keeps doing that, and very dusty. And the stage loader's noisy, but what that does is it crushes some of the big lumps into manual pieces on for conveyor. But now it's it was an experience and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, how many years did you have down there?
About 3 years.
And in those 3 years, I mean, how much of that? So that was 84 was when the
miners'
strike started. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were down there from 1980 to 80.
I think it was 91. 1991. I think it was.
So you weren't there during the mining strike stuff?
No,
you joined after all that?
I was still at school. And I mean,
so the outcome of the miners' strike, so from the outside, you always remember the strikes and stuff. So, I mean, there was a stay of execution. I mean, some of the mines obviously carried on till Hatfield only closed 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what proportion of mines closed down over the miners' strike in this area?
I don't really know, to tell you the truth, because, I mean, because I was younger, I wasn't, I mean, the miners' strike didn't really affect us, because when my dad being a deputy, he was still allowed to work, and it didn't affect him, and
he was still allowed to work because
the safety. He had to make sure the mine was still safe.
So there was no stigma attached to him carrying on. So
no.
they go. So the guys basically said, "Look, you've got to. If we want our jobs kept, you are important to keep the place safe for us to go back to."
Yeah.
So you're not really politically involved in this.
No, I mean there's 2 unions in the mines. There's the NUM and the NACODs. And the NACODs were the deputies' union. I mean, I used to say to my dad when it was, because my dad retired through ill health, and I said to him, "Well, you ain't right union, aren't you?" So, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're knackered." But now, I mean, we had stories of like so-called ghosts underground.
Really?
Yeah, one was called Ragarm. Apparently this guy supposed to have got his arm ripped off on a district, and sometimes you'll see him or whatever, but sometimes on a roadway in the far distance you'll see a light coming towards you. And you're walking towards the light, but then there's never a light there. And when I got to bottom, I saw deputy. He was just walking down. I said, "Anybody just passed you?" He said, "No way." He said, "I'm walking down, and I saw a light." So I was probably Ragarm.
Really?
Yeah. I mean...
Ragarm? So this is the guy that didn't have an arm?
Yeah, he got his arm ripped off.
So he's walking around without an arm and a lantern?
Yeah. I mean, apparently he died in that lot, but it was a ghost that was travelling around. I mean, I can remember when I first started, which I'll never forget, under manager went into Edding. I think the district, what, KO6s.
KO6 is the name of the district?
Yes. That's the area that they're mining. They're doing Edding, ready to put a face up. And what I did, I was sat at this transfer point, waiting for coal and conveyors to start and start the other one. And the manager and under manager walked in to Edding, and I sat down waiting, and I fell asleep. And I don't know what it was or what, but I opened my eyes and there was a figure in front of me with a light, a cap lamp. I shut my eyes again, opened my eyes, and I stood up. And as soon as I stood up, the manager, under manager, walked back round the corner. That's God's honest truth.
Really?
Yes. Honest.
Were you by yourself?
Yes, I was. And I mean, my granddad, apparently he worked down pit. So I don't know if it was, I don't know. But I can remember years ago when I was younger, when I was still at school and that, one Christmas, we used to have families coming to the house, and this one day, well, one evening, my stomach really hurting. I mean, I'm only young. My granddad had already died by this time, and I laid in, I said to Mum, I'm going up to have a lay on bed. So I went upstairs, laid on bed, and just laid there, total darkness, and all of a sudden I saw like a blue light coming door. Door was shut, it just appeared through the door, and I watched it, and it was coming round towards the end of my bed, and it like came towards the end of the bed and stopped. And I'm like looking at it thinking, well, I can't remember what I was thinking or trying to input what's what. Then I walked out, well then it went back out. And as soon as it went out, the pain in my stomach had gone.
Really?
And I went and told my mum, and Mum says, because when I told her what had happened, says, in a spiritualist side, blue is a sign of healing.
Really?
And she says, more likely your granddad came to you to get rid of your pain.
Good Lord.
But that's the only 2 episodes of spiritual stuff I've encountered.
Jesus. Was your mum quite spiritual then?
No. But that's one of the things that really, which I'll never forget really.
Yeah.
So with a mine one, I could have lost my job straight away.
Because?
I was asleep.
Yeah.
But something in front of me woke me up. And as soon as I stood up, they came out corner, and I was just in shock.
Wow. Someone's looking over you. So you left a mine because it closed?
Yes. I mean, I've always said, if it hadn't closed, I would be still there.
Really? And then, so what happened? This was
91, so 92. I got a redundancy payout. At the time I was living in Wakefield.
Oh, right.
I used to travel every day to and from Wakefield.
How far is that?
I think about half an hour ride.
You're driving on a car or?
Yeah, driving a car. And I mean, I lived in town at one point with another partner when I used to bike it on push bike.
Good Lord.
To work every day.
Really?
Yeah, and I think about it now thinking, it just hurts me just think about it now.
Gosh. Fit guy.
Yeah. I mean, I was thin as a rake then.
Yeah.
And when miners had seen me years later after it shut, I thought, Jesus Christ, look at the size of you now. Compared to how I was. And but now it's, then like I say, after it shut, I lived in Wakefield, and I I just laid it back one night. Well, one evening, the partner at the time, she says to me, because she was concerned about the money that I'd got left and I hadn't done anything with myself, and said you have to start thinking about doing a job. I said, well, I don't know what to do. I ain't got a clue. And he said, well, what are you good at? I said, I don't know, I'm not good with my hands and that lot. So I started to look at the building side of things, and I went through all building trades. Like some of them are seasonal, and some of them are anybody like paint decorating. Anybody can really, if they really want to, slap some paint on a wall. It just didn't seem my forte, that bit. And bricklaying, same again, seasoning, joinery, PVC were coming in, so windows weren't wooden anymore.
No.
So I was like, the plastering came in.
All right.
I thought, well, yeah. I thought we could do with some plastering in the house. So what I did, I went to British Coal Enterprise, and
So how long after your retirement is this?
this were
Redundancy, sorry.
nearly a year.
Right, for your money, how much? Sorry, I don't want to get personal, but how much did you get?
I don't know if it was 14,000 or 17.
Okay.
At the time, I was the youngest underground worker, but realistically, I was the best paid
Oh, really?
in that respect, because there was categories for your age. If you was 21, you got an extra £7.5 grand lump sum on top of your 12 weeks, best 12 weeks.
Sorry, I missed that. If you're under or over 21?
Over 21,
Yeah, okay.
you got an extra 7,500 plus your best 12 weeks. Then
Best 12 weeks? You mean the highest paid 12
Yes.
weeks you have?
best 12 weeks. Then if you're 30, you got an extra 10,000 on top of that.
Good Lord.
And to say I was there only 3 years, I qualified for the over 21 lump sum, as well as the best 12 weeks. The guys been there since school who were 29, couple of months, couple of days short of the 30th birthday, who missed out on that extra 10 grand lump sum. So they've been working all them years from school till the present day, and it got to a point where they've actually got the same amount as me.
Good Lord. Why did they miss out, sorry?
Because they didn't reach, they hadn't reached 30.
Oh.
Because it went from like 21, 30, went in your age group.
Yeah.
So a lot of people said to me, they found it a bit disgusting really, but
Yeah, yeah.
they couldn't really take it out on me because it's the way the system works. He said, but truthfully, you're better off than any of us, because the least amount of time you come in and what you got paid compared to us, which is virtually the same amount.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were very upset about it.
I bet they were.
But then, like I say, I mean, I had holidays and stuff like that from it all. I mean, like I say, I'm only 21, 22, and at that age with money, it doesn't really last that long because you're not clued up on things.
Yeah.
So I went to Leeds College of Build. I mean, I went to British Coal Enterprise to ask them about it, and I said I'm thinking about doing plastering.
So they basically, British Coal Enterprise was still kind of responsible. You could still go to them and say, can you help me? Because you weren't like forgotten about.
No,
left.
British Coal Enterprise were to help people get to work.
Right.
find work, and we got in touch with Leeds College building, and because I was unemployed and signing on, I was eligible for a free course. It didn't cost me anything. It was funded for me. So that was a bonus. And I went up to Leeds College building, enrolled in plastering, and I did a 3-year course in 2 years. Got my MVQs 1, 2 and 3.
So this kind of education you could handle?
Yes. I mean, what it was manual, because we did a practical before theory. I mean, I still struggled a bit with the theory, but I had help and got through it.
Yeah.
But even, I mean, there were guys there coming to me, asking me how to do this, how to do that, instead of going to the tutor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they knew I could do things. And then at one point, after I finished and got my results and that, when I finished my course, the principal, who was also a plasterer, he said to me, why don't you stop on and do a tutor's course and become a tutor?
Good Lord. And did you?
No.
Well, probably a good idea if you did the right thing.
But then I went plastering for myself. I did some agency work. I really enjoyed it. But then my back started playing up.
And why was that?
I think it's just the type of job it was, and I ended up having, well, in 2002, I ended up having a back operation because my back had gone.
Good Lord.
And then 2007, I had another back operation. So with plastering, I had to keep that into touch. I thought, I can't do it anymore. Body's not letting me do it. I mean, I still did a bit for myself, small little pieces, but anything for anybody else, I wouldn't do. So at the time, I got a job doing a fence erector, erecting fences for council, like in Barnsley, in Bradford. And there was a supervisor there who, he was on about leaving the firm to go and work somewhere else. And he said to me, he said, I want you to come with me. I want you to come and work while I'm working. So when he went there, I went with him, and I started welding. First bit of welding.
Oh, really?
I've done really. Making BT communication boxes for like mobile phones, where you put all your batteries inside and you got your communication mast and all your components inside. I'm making the roof and bases for those. I started doing that, and I got there, but it didn't take much. I wasn't there that long, but then I went to a trailer place, welding, making trailers up on A1 at Ferry Bridge. And it turned out, when I was there, I become a foreman because I could understand the job and I could do any of the jobs that I've done. So they made me foreman there. Then with the travel, I mean, they even paid me fuel to get there each week because they knew how good I was and they wanted to keep me. But I found a job closer to home when I lived back in Doncaster. Paid the same money. No, it was about nearly 50 pence more than what they were paying, but I didn't have travel expenses, and that was with a welding fabrication firm. And I started with them, and I'd been with them ever since. 2007, when I was with them, that's when I had back operation. I went back to work a month after operation. I was still able to do my job, but then 2013, I'd just been to see my friend in Bentley after work, and I was just ready for going home, and on my way home, a bloke in a young lad in a 4x4 turned into my path when I was on a motorbike, and he knocked me off, and I ended up dislocating my shoulder, shattering my thigh, fracturing my hip, pelvis, and damaging my knee. So I spent a month in hospital and a year off work, and because of the mortgage payments was coming to an end, all I was concerned about was I need to get money. I need to pay the bills. So I went back.
Did you have kids at this time?
We had one. Yeah. No, sorry, the accident I've had, we had two at the accident, but Amy, she was young. I think she was 3. She got born in 2010. But then I went back to work for 6 months.
What, so you were...
After accident, a year, I went back to work, but I went back to work for 6 months and realised I wasn't getting any better. I still had problems. I ended up having an operation on my shoulder, operation on my knee, and I found out my leg was still broke.
Oh God.
Yeah, so...
How the hell did they miss that?
Well, apparently what's happened, my bone's not healing. For some reason, my bone's not healing up. So, I mean, my leg's still broke now.
Really?
Yeah, I've waited to see a consultant, see if I can MRI scan or CT scan, to actually find out what's happening. So at the moment, I'm still not working. I'm just vegetating really.
So your leg's been broken for
No,
8 years?
No, 4. 2013.
Sorry.
2013 I had the
Your
accident.
daughter was born 10.
Yes. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So at the moment you're waiting to talk to specialists.
Yeah, again.
And what do you think might happen?
I don't know, because I went to a specialist in Sheffield, and they turn around and says, there's not much else we can do. Your leg's going back together, but it's healing up on the outside, but on the inside it's not healing. And that's what problem I had before. So I had an operation, put frame on the side of my leg, to squash my bone together, to force it to heal.
Clamp it like a wood in your woodwork.
Yeah, but then they broke my leg further down to extend my leg. So
So what, your leg extended?
extend it, yeah. So my leg was the same length. Because this leg was about 1 inch shorter when they compressed it up.
So the compression is a vertical compression, not a lateral one?
Yeah, straight up. And so they did that. We got to the point where he said it's healing, it's doing, but to me they let me discharge me too soon regarding doing a follow-up.
Right.
Regarding scans.
So you were out, in a sense, unprotected.
Yeah. And I've got nothing in me, leg at all, no steel weight, no nothing.
30 minutes, Laurence.
How many?
30.
Jesus.
So that's all up against at the moment.
So what are you doing? How are you dealing with this?
Well, it's hard really because everything I think about is numb. Only,
Everything you think about is numb.
yeah, there's,
What do you mean? In your brain or in
Yeah.
your body? Physically or mentally?
mentally, like a lot of things are just numb. I can't think of anything. But the only place I find sanity is a Bentley pit. Sometimes I've gone up to the top of where Bentley pit used to be and sat there and thought about the good times. When I've been low, and that's where I've gone. And sometimes I think about all the old roadways and stuff like that. Try and boost me up.
Incredible. And that incredible, inquisitive bloke that was exploring underground, I suppose.
Yeah.
And you can live that. You can be in that body in a sense and be down there.
Yeah, yeah,
So did you because all these pits have been flattened and raised.
yeah.
Some of them you can't even find any evidence of them at all. So have you? Because Bentley Pit is kind of completely lost, isn't it? In a sense?
Yeah, I mean, there's area in the grounds of the nature reserve where they've got, like it's all fenced off, but I've found 2 caps where these shafts were, and what I've done is I put some, like solar panel light up against it and put some little lights wrapping round the cap.
So let's just go back to me. So you're exploring on your walking stick. You're sort of walking around.
Well, I went on
on
crutches.
your crutches.
Yeah,
To find solace.
yeah,
You wanted to find kind of almost like a spiritual home, really.
Yeah,
A place
yeah.
that had evidence of where your previous life had been.
yeah.
And you found it.
Yeah, I found it
So
then.
it effectively is what, 2 concrete slabs?
Well, it's like pyramids.
Pyramids, so like kind of tumor-like.
Yeah.
How big are they?
Sounds about, that's height that chair.
Oh, they're not big at all.
No.
So like milestones or
Yeah.
shrines.
But like I say, I put lights around it, but I've never been at night to see if it's actually lighting up and stuff.
So your first, I remember you telling me your first kind of offering was luminous stars.
Yeah, I glued some stars on the one that glow in the night, thinking that it'll do it, but like I say, I've been out really seeing it.
Wow, so I love that image of in the middle of this wood. Because I like the fact that you talked about ghosts and spirit
Yeah.
lives and stuff. And you've almost created this kind of luminous starred spiritual pyramids
Yeah,
in the middle of a wood.
yeah, I mean, what I wanted my mind of doing was like doing some form of solar light, but having it shining straight up.
Yeah.
So on a night time, if it's a bit foggy, you can see the light shine up.
Brilliant.
I've got, but it's trying to get back over to it. And that, I mean, I think a few people have been there now because the pathway to it is not bad actually. I mean, you still got to be very careful, but like I say, with crutches and that, I can get to it and just because it's not that far away from path where you're walking.
Gosh. And so how do you feel when you're there? I mean, you say, do you just sit there and think?
Yeah, I just think and imagine myself, I mean, even now, I'm doing it now, travelling down shaft, getting to the level I'm getting off at, and walking round to diesel cabin to get the locomotive to go in by. And I can see upturns, up roadways, that's shooting off it. And come to air doors, going through air doors, going to the top of drift.
And the weird thing is that underneath you, that is all still there.
Yeah.
And all that equipment's still there.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So this underground city.
Yeah.
There's probably even helmets, sort of luminous jackets, boots, whatever, all sitting in corridors and tracks and...
Yeah. I may say, plus there's the people lost their lives in the explosion, which they were never found.
Yeah. The ghosts.
Yeah. And the memories.
Yeah. Wow, that's very powerful. And there's no kind of memorial to the...
No, there isn't. There's nothing, nowhere to indicate at the site of it, and I'm a bit upset in that respect. There's no remembrance of the pit at all on the area.
Yeah. Except your lights.
Yeah, that should still work. I don't know.
Yeah. So did your father still, I mean, did your father have feelings for the pit like you, or?
Oh yeah. he sometimes when we get together and have a chat about it all, he always on about it and what some other guys have said and done and that. I mean, I've took him up to Cap House Colliery, mining museum. He enjoyed that. So I love going back to him in that lot.
Yeah. Brilliant. How does that compare to the real experiences?
Well, it's not as dusty.
No.
And it's not... Well, the thing is, you know it's a museum, you know it's being staged. They've done a good job at it compared to the people who've never been in them areas and to get a sense of what it was like. But for the miners who've been down there, it's very close to how it was. I think the closest one at bits I've noticed is when you first go down there to get you to turn your lights off, so completely dark.
Yeah.
That's the only one total darkness of it all that gets to anybody.
That is dense.
Yeah.
I have luckily been down there.
Yeah.
It's chilling. Anyway, it's not chilling, but it is
Yeah.
salutary.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do your mouth minutes, so you might have to stop talking just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Gather your thoughts. Be good because it'd be quite still. A lot of people get very gestural, move their heads and start talking to other people in the room. Forget they're actually posing. How did you find out about this?
It was on Facebook. Facebook and that, and I thought, yeah, I wouldn't mind be part of it and be included in it all. And then I've got something in my mind that I'm part of that history, it's visible.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a video on YouTube what I did of Bentley Pit,
Really?
just for it shut. And that's me walking round lockers, round showers, up the gantry to the shaft side, and just videoing everywhere, outside its shaft, looking down shaft. And as far as I know, I'm the only one who's actually done that type of video. So I was quite privileged because, like I say, if I've gone into YouTube and typed in Bentley Pit, Bentley Colliery, there's nothing about it really. And so I put mine on, and that's the only one I can truly say is the history of Bentley.
Yeah.
To me, that's the only thing of Bentley Pit there is.
Wow.
There's no other. I mean, there might be archives at the radio, I mean, at the TV station, but regarding footage for people to see, I think that's the only one.
Foresight on your behalf. You seem to be constantly aware of history, really.
Yeah.
Do you study stuff now, or?
I do, yeah. I mean, I'm fascinated with Titanic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got a model that I'm doing. I haven't been able to do it for some time because I haven't been able to sit in a certain position to feel comfortable to do it. But it's about a metre in length.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I've got
What's it made of?
wood.
Really?
Yeah, I've got to pull up lats on. For,
Really?
yeah, I've got to do it all. And got little minute brass things for up doors, up windows.
And what you're copying it from?
It's like a issue thing I did years ago. There's 100 issues, and each issue's got so much stuff inside to make the ship. Yeah, and you've got step by step stages.
Came out as some sort of centenary thing, did it?
No, I don't think it did. I don't think it came out like 100 years or like that, no.
Do you recognise yourself yet? Very nice smile. It's your half beard sort of thing. It's the it's not quite a beard, but it is a visual addition.
Yeah.
So it's, you don't want to draw it, so you kind of have to hint at it every now and again. I bet you thought about that when you came in here. I'll make that difficult.
Well, I thought to myself, I don't know whether to shave it off or not. Don't drop it.
Don't drop it now.
Don't smash my
I'm
nose.
going to go into the water in a minute. Ah. Ah. So this is modelling wax. This is you buy it from the British Wax Refining Company.
Yeah.
And they make it specially for sculptures, really.
Right.
But you have a winter one and a summer one. So
Right.
the winter one is a lot softer. So when I do this back at the studio, there's no heating in my studio, and it's really, really freezing.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a Roman head, it's a copy of a Roman head found locally. And I've been doing this here.
Mm.
It's like butter. I go back, I think I'll be easy. There's like rock. It's like modelling boiled sweets.
So that's why you can do it in time you got.
Yeah, so they're there. It took me, the first stages of getting
Yeah.
the first bits on. It was like, oh my God, it's breaking my fat fingers, So the armpit treatment gets involved.
Yeah.
And I have big sort of gas heaters there. That, these knives run in gas. And you have to sort of hang the wax over the gas and to get the rust right. Stop it dripping, but just get it so it's soft. And then it's a nightmare. It goes on and on. It's never quite right. So these will be bronze.
Mm.
And I'm going to give you a plaster. I'm going to make a mould of it.
Yeah.
And you'll get a plaster.
What, from my finger?
It'll be a white plaster of Paris.
Mm. Yeah, that's one of the things I did at college. In me
Of course, the plastering, yeah.
fibrous side of things on MVQ3, making coving, niches, everything.
Nice, yeah.
Making things. I mean, I've done some jobs where I've made it all in situ, where I've actually run coving on the wall.
Yeah, lovely.
I've had to make a running mould, template and redo it.
In fact, I was looking at my hotel room this morning at the coving around the top. So God.
I've done curved ceilings.
Really?
Yeah, plastered curved ceilings.
You have different faces for different emotions.
Do I?
Yeah.
So I'll keep changing then.
Well, it's really subtle. You've got a very nice, kind of a concerned look just in there.
Right.
Telling your painful stories.
Mm.
You look a bit relieved now, so they've gone, and now there's a kind of
Right.
an even, yeah, it's very subtle. But I'd like to get that emotion into it.
I'll try and get back to that one then.
It's very nice. So I'm trying to get, what you try and do often in faces and stuff, is try and get two stories in one face.
Right.
So maybe if I'm lucky here, I'll have a kind of emotional look there, and a kind of glow of, when you're talking about models of the Titanic and your visits to the pit now, and you imagine there's a kind of a lightness in this, in this eye. Because if I'm lucky and I manage to pull it off and we make this sculpture, this might be one of the ones that's in the final presentation. You know.
I'll be overwhelmed if you.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything in there you think, oh, you got that wrong?
No. Definitely not.
Just the space between the eyes can be so important.
No, I'll be overwhelmed and chuffed if it was part of the display on sculpture.
It'd be amazing.
It was like fulfill my life.
Yeah.
Knowing that women beat youngest,
Yes, that's a good point.
I'm somebody.
And what I love, you know, you've got kids.
Mm.
I mean, they'll be able to come and see it.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. It's emotional.
Mm.
This is an emotional
Story.
project.
Mm. I mean, if it is on the sculpture, which I hope it is, I'm buttering you up now. You could like be saying, this is the youngest underground worker there was.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get brownie points, honest.
Sorry?
See, I'm not trying to get brownie points.
No, at all. No, no. It's the truth is the truth, isn't it?
Mm.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I'd be overwhelmed if I were on it.
For once, I feel all right. The great thing about this one is we've had you're so good at talking. Often I have to kind of think of questions. You know, it's been wonderful. I've been able to concentrate as well as listen. You know, and you're fascinating.
Oh, you've got to put me in sculpture now, then.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely fascinating, man.
Tell him he's got to put me. He's got to put me in the sculpture now.
We don't listen to each other anymore, unfortunately.
He has no influence in my life.
Are you married?
Have you been comfortable?
Yeah. I'll just carry on with it.
So do you see, I mean, is there a club you go to and sort of social club that now exists?
I don't know. I mean, there's a club near where I live that's part of, well, a lot of miners go in there in Bentley. I'm trying to think what. Jet. It's called the Jet.
Do you see many miners? I mean, do you talk to?
No. Oops. No, I don't see many people. Say, with my situation, with my problem, I don't
Get out and about.
I don't get out and about.
I mean, do you drink and are you a sociable drinker?
No, can't remember last time I had a drink. I think I need to start drinking.
Well, it's been a theme of these blooming portraits, I can tell you. It's been wonderful. The oil of social lives, the lubrication.
But what medication I'm on, that's what.
Oh, right. Is it pain?
Yeah. Pain relief ones. Some of them are like heroin based.
Morphine.
Heroin.
Heroin. Literally, not morphine, but heroin.
Yeah, it's like on the same scale as heroin.
It's weird because there's this case at the moment, this poor child with these epileptic, like 50 epileptic fits a day, and it's awful. And there's this cannabis-based treatment that reduces them to 1 a month.
Yeah.
And I always think there's this kind of morphine and heroin, you know, going through people's bodies, and then there's this cannabis treatment that they kind of have a real problem about sanctioning. I don't understand it.
That's because it's all down to money.
Yeah, I think so.
Cannabis is a plant.
Yeah.
How can you make money from a plant? That's what it's all down to.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Drug companies.
Because it's a natural drug, it's a plant. They just, if everybody, well, if he was allowed to grow it, but they don't want to do it because they won't get the money. But I don't understand why they won't do it. But I mean, there's theories regarding how government work regarding depopulation.
Depopulation? Yeah. Really? What do you mean?
Well, I give rid of people. Some of these tablets, painkiller tablets, they give you the problems. So it's their way of saying, gives them other problems, and I'll leave it alone. Being a fact that on YouTube, quite a lot about it. People are doing talks about it.
Do you feel very strongly about all that? Is it something you could campaign on or anything?
Well, that thing me a moment, I'm just trying to enjoy my life best I can and
get your situation right.
Yeah.
Do you have an online community you belong to in a sense of mining and history and?
There's a mining website on Facebook. Sometimes a bloke he draws pictures and puts his pictures on there, and people comment on it. So yeah, is that so and so? Is that so and so? That's quite.
Have you thought about, you're doing a Titanic, have you thought about recreating an underground world that you can remember?
Well, I can remember when I worked at Pit, I had a little book and I wrote like a story in it.
Really?
Yeah, about underground.
Really?
Because it was strange because while I was like, it's like saying I was working on the ground and all of a sudden section of wall fell away and I went down this corridor and I came across these doors and it was like another world.
Wow.
But there were just women there and there were no men. Like my question was, where's the men and stuff like that, and why don't you interact with each other anymore? Why don't you socialise? And I think what I can remember what I did was, in the story, I made the women and men reunite again.
Really?
And realise what it is to live together.
Wow, this sounds...
And it was like space age underground, other area at Pit where the area where I'm working is as it is, and the other side is all space age. Oh, my mind, what?
Sounds amazing. Do you ever think about rekindling all that sort of stuff in your... let your imagination run riot?
I even did one about a book about the war games, like doing a game, writing about this game where when you hit this button, it actually started World War III.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sad.
Not at all. It sounds incredibly creative. Fantastically creative. I mean, it sounds like in a sense, your body, your mind is kind of still incredibly free to do the journeys, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a kind of technology around and a lot of...
It's 12 Laurence.
Oh, Christ. Oh, well. We're done. Well, that was amazing.
Enjoy that.
Everyone did. I really, really did. Really, really did. One of the loveliest sessions. Can go on. And on and on. The problem with this is it's never finished. It can't ever. You're really honest and open and lovely. I'll take your cup. You can hold your head for a minute. Show the people. All right.
All right.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Enjoy your stay.
I will. We'll share it.
Finished it as well.
Yeah. see the kind of sense of
The throwing.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
hopefully a bit of lightness just on that brow. Funny enough, your haircut was quite a difficult one. Because it's quite short and spiky, but you don't want to turn it into a hedgehog.
No, that's fine, no.
Yeah. You want to do there's a bit of just a little life under there,
Yeah,
just a lift, and it's just getting the forehead to go underneath.
yeah.
Great nose. Great profile. If you look at the profile, it's great.
Yeah.
And all your lips. I remember in the photograph, you're in great, fantastic mouth. It was very strange that when I did that talk, I didn't realise the people were in the audience, and I was talking about people's heads. You know, look at this eye, look at this lip. And then after they go, well, you were talking about my head. Oh, Christ, that's one of the strangest kind of talks I've ever done in hindsight.
Lovely.
There you go.
I'll take a picture of that.
You say your phone?
Yeah.
Do you know what I like about it? Whenever Laurence gets an opportunity to just keep tinkering, then he always does it until you stand up and you walk out.
Yeah.
He just keeps.
I like this one. It's a lovely one. Do you want a photograph of you with it? Should we get someone to take a photograph of?
Just check it. Just
Whew. Gosh, that one was emotional. Actually, that was an emotional, draining